In this video, I will demonstrate the updated Kamikaze method for exposing the dead zero point on the NX OLED. Let's get started. This is the Nx OLED board. If you've been keeping up with the modding scene since October 2021, you will know about the different ways to install mod kits on this board. I must admit that my initial installation method was bad and not beautiful. At that time, I used the light kit and enameled wires. I took a pin from a SATA connector, grind it down, and used it to access the dead zero signal on the eMMC chip. Although it was a challenging process, it was successful for a while until the mod kit manufacturers released the dead zero adapter for easier installation. The dead zero adapter gluing with a green UV mask gained popularity at the time. However, due to the nature of the mask, which is not actually a glue, the dead zero connection tended to loosen over time. It was not a reliable solution at all. Then, the mod kit manufacturers designed and produced several dead zero adapters with various forms, claiming them to be more reliable than the original dead zero adapter. However, in the end, these adapters ended up failing as well. I have attempted to remove the eMMC chip and install a thin wire for accessing the dead zero signal, but this process is too cumbersome and could potentially damage the eMMC chip due to heat. Furthermore, it is not reliable as the solder ball could develop micro cracks later unless the tablet remains undocked. There is another method to access the dead zero signal by using the eMMC solder pad. Although I haven't tried it, it seems to pose the same challenges as the thin wiring method, as it involves heat and removing the eMMC chip. So what is the most reliable method for accessing the dead zero signal? The answer depends on its modder's perspective. In my experience, the Kamikaze method stands out. What is Kamikaze and why was it given that name? It was a method to modify the Xbox 360 drive by creating a hole in the Winbond chip to update the firmware. It was risky because one mistake could ruin the entire board. The Kamikaze method for the NX is similar, so we name it after the Xbox 360 method. The Kamikaze method does not involve heat and does not alter the original solder ball, but it requires patience and delicate skill. I use the Maen D1 grinder pen to do the Kamikaze method. You can use any grinder pen, but the grinder head should be as small as possible. I recommend using the 0.2mm size for best result. Next, you need to have some wipes or Q-tips, a microscope set, a syringe containing soldering flux, brush for cleaning, isopropyl alcohol 99%, UV curable soldering mask, a portable UV lamp, a UV curable resin, a good solder paste, a sharp solder tip like the Heco T12JL02, a sewing needle, and a 40-gauge Teflon wire. This is the Nx OLED board view by XZZ. By examining the tracks, we can identify the drilling point for the dead zero signal. The Nx PCB consists of 10 layers. The top side of the screen corresponds to layer 10, while the bottom side of the screen corresponds to layer 1. And now let's zoom into the eMMC area. The dead zero point is located at the edge of the eMMC chip, and it is the third point from the right side. When we click the point, we can read that it is connected to the 8th layer at the same spot. When we follow the track of the 8th layer, represented by the dotted line, it leads us to this area. We can read that the track connected to the 7th track and later to the 4th track. When we zoom out, we can observe that the track ends at the CPU side, but we can also see that the track shifts from the 4th track to the 3rd track in this area. As there are no other track passing through this area, we can proceed with drilling the dead zero point here. I typically wet the area with solder flux before scraping it. The flux helps to collect the dust and prevent it from scattering around. Now let's begin scratching the surface of the board. You will witness the live demonstration of the Kamikaze method, giving you the clear idea of the time invested in exposing the dead zero signal. The first step to achieve our goal is to remove the top layer, also known as the first layer, within a square. Use the wipes plus IPA to remove the dust if you cannot see the layer clearly. Reapply the flux and continue scraping the board. We will now uncover the second layer. Clear the area by wiping away the debris. Reapply the flux and keep scraping the board. We have mostly removed the second layer. Clear the area thoroughly using wipes. Now spray or wet the area with IPA to ensure clear visibility. We can faintly see the dead zero point on the third layer here, which is our main goal. Now let's continue exposing the dead zero point. There you have it. I managed to expose the dead zero point from scratch in just 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Not bad at all. Now let's cover the perimeter using the UV curable solder mask. Get a UV lamp and expose the area to UV light for 1 minute. Then wipe the area with IPA. Apply a small amount of solder paste to the dead zero point using a sewing needle and carefully melt it with a soldering iron. Perfect. Now rotate the board a bit. Get a small piece of 40 gauge Teflon wire and solder it to the dead zero point. Next, I will secure the wire by applying UV resin. Place a small drop of resin on the wire and then expose it to the UV lamp for 30 seconds. Now wipe the area with IPA. And there you have it. That's how I utilize the Kamikaze method to expose the dead zero signal. Thank you for watching the video and I'll see you next time.